This is the quadratic equation and factoring machine by myself, Anthony Fudge. The quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. The quadratic formula is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. At first, this equation looks scary. What is important is that we understand how the equation works. The quadratic equation actually has a formula. You must use the formula to solve the equation. The equation is here. The equation is or will be in what we call standard form. Standard form just means that the formula must be equal to 0, like this. Ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Breaking down the equation. Now we need to know how to read this equation. The placement of variables is very important, so let's break it down item by item. The a is always next to the x squared, the b is always next to the x, and the c is always will be by itself. Here are the values for our example. So let's give values for each item a, b, and c. A is equal to 3, b is equal to 4, and c is equal to negative 12. Let's substitute the values into the equation. Now we can substitute the values given into the formula. Now that we have the variables we can use the quadratic formula. Here's the quadratic formula, and here's the quadratic formula with the substituted values. Now we have a problem we can solve. Let's do the math. Look closely. What do you see? We can simplify. We have perfect squares. Yes, 16 and 144. We love perfect squares when dealing with quadratic equations. But we still have more simplifying to do. It's closing time. We will always have two values, the 2 and a 3.33, as in this case. Now we have example 2. I have provided you with a second example how to solve it for using the quadratic equation. In this example, a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2, and c is equal to 3. You will see we get a value of 1 and negative 3. So guess what? It's graphing time. You will always have to answer for a positive and negative, like so. Let's do it one more time. No more monsters here. This monster, gone. It's not a monstrous problem. You just have to break it down. Graphing. One of the best ways to show results is to provide a visual reference. In my example, I will use a table and a graph that we can visualize. Graphing and tabling simplified. For the table, I will graph the points derived from our equation with the vertex of an x value of 0 and a y value of 0. And these are all your graphing plots, your graphing points where you'll be graphing. The quadratic table, your vertex, your x value is 0 and your y value is 0. For problem 1, you have your x value is 2 and your y value is 3.333. Problem 2, you have your x value is 1 and your y value is 3. Problem 3, you have your x value of 14 and your y value at negative 2. Graphing. Graphing is an illustration of our results in a picture form. First, we use a straight edge to draw two lines that intersect at 0 and 0. We mark the intersection at 0 and 0. We label the horizontal line as y and the vertical line as x. Now we can plot. Plotting is placing a point at the intersection where the points x and y meet on our table. This is what our sample graph is going to look like. This is what it looks like. Now, as you notice, we have problem number 1 graphed, problem number 2 also graphed, and problem number 3 graphed. It makes this U-shaped. We call this U-shaped parabola. Now this is your graphing complete. Stay tuned for the next video on Factoring 101.